kids?
No. If the machine had blown up the kids, there'd be pieces of them everywhere.
Wayne?
Welcome to Classics of Cinematics. On today's episode, we discuss the beloved family film Honey, I Shrunk the Kids. Directed by Joe Johnston, this 1989 film takes us on a wild journey as inventor Wayne Szalinski accidentally shrinks his children and their friends to the size of insects in his shrinking machine. Now they must navigate their own backyard, which has turned into a colossal jungle full of gigantic obstacles. Our cast includes Rick Moranis, Matt Frewer, Marsha Strassman, and Thomas Wilson Brown. Join us as we delve deeper into this incredible adventure and discuss its enduring legacy. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button and ring the notification bell so you never miss one of our cinematic explorations. Hey folks, man, this is Monk, and we're back with another episode of Classics of Cinematics. I'm joined as always with my host, man, co-host. We got Bobby Blockbuster. Yo. Today, folks, man, we're going to be talking about Honey, I Shrunk the Kids. And what year did this come out, Bobby Blockbuster?
1989.
Yeah, that's
Damn,
crazy,
I love
man.
being an 80s baby.
You know what's wild? The first time I saw this movie, I was at 6th grade camp. So if you in the Maryland area, that's kind of a tradition around here, man.
Yes,
6th grade, you go to camp. They send you to camp for like a week. And I think ours was out in Great Falls. And this was our movie. We had a movie night one night, and we watched this film, man. So,
well, lucky for you, because you were one of the kids that got to go for a week. By the time I got to 6th grade, they shortened it to 3 days.
ooh, y'all got robbed, bro.
What? That's what I'm saying.
This is why education is important, man.
Yeah.
Fun education, man, because they're doing cutbacks like this, dude.
Yes, and that my brother, he got the week too. That just gave him one more thing to smear in my face. Just like you always telling me that I'm always Luigi. And I never even got to play with Mario. I was Luigi.
Yeah, so we got Honey, I Shrunk the Kids, man, which was a blockbuster at the time. How much money this thing make, man?
Oh, well, on that note, so it had an $18 million budget, right?
Mm-hmm.
In the first week, dog, grossed $22.2 million. Ended up capping out at $130 million in the U.S., $222.7 million worldwide.
Yeah, so this was a heavy hitter to end
That's
the 80s.
MCU numbers.
Yeah. At that time, yeah, this was crazy, man.
And you know what? The thing is, this movie came out around the same time. It was competing against the 1989 Batman, only film it didn't do better than, because that film grossed 400 mil.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, shit. But
Yeah,
turn 18 into 222 is a win.
Yeah, that's definitely a win, man. I remember the merchandising, and it was just everywhere at the time, man. So what are we liking about this thing, man?
I mean, first and foremost, this is a 100% order a pizza Friday night family fun movie. You know what I'm saying? It's fun for all ages, from grown to small, pun intended. But I like the story, man. It's simple but effective. Like, you know, and I feel like it works mainly because even though we got Rick Moranis as our lead, he doesn't have to do all the heavy lifting. You know what I'm saying? It's I mean, it's spread out throughout the cast, and we get this like multi-dimensional cast where the story is pretty much being broken down in brackets and
or multi-generational, I would say.
Yeah, there you go. There you go. And you know, and the thing is that it starts where we get these two families that coincidentally enough are also neighbors, and what really works is the fact that they are polar opposites of each other. You know what I'm saying? Whereas, you know, first we get the Thompsons, which is like your like typical you know, all-American family into sports, fishing, camping, and all of these, you know, rough around the edges, you know, kind of, you know, family dynamics, almost like the Bundys, but successful. But then on the other hand, you got the Szalinskis, and that's where Rick Moranis is the father. But and he plays this like this misunderstood, slightly odd underdog father of this family that's kind of, you know, they hint on the fact that, you know, him and the wife are kind of having issues. She's not home. She's at the grandmother's house. She ends up coming home, but
he's this like the sciencey family, the more intellectual.
But you know, that's the thing too that really works for me is the fact that they, you know, with this story, to make this story work, for all intents and purposes, he builds a shrink ray. But instead of taking your prototypical mad scientist approach, they take the, the underachieving, unassuming, insecure inventor approach. Yeah. And that works for Moranis because, what it does is it keeps the lightheartedness. You take the mad scientist approach, that turns this film from a family film
Back to the Future
into a drama. You know what I'm saying?
I'm thinking Christopher Lloyd, but I will say I do like the science of this, man. Yes. Basically, he wants to shrink things, which is a brilliant idea, man, in a way. If you think about now what we're going through with, UPS just had to renegotiate and all that, but just imagine if you could fit like 1,000 UPS trucks worth of stuff in one truck. Right. You shrunk it down. So then let's just say you get it to the UPS facility, then you re-enlarge it and start loading it in the trucks to get delivered to people. Like, think about that. One plane could carry like 1,000 trucks worth of merch. Yeah. Like that's revolutionary. Just storage alone, things that you could do. Think about if you had to store some stuff, you're between apartments or whatever, you got to move out, whatever. You usually don't chuck your stuff in storage. What if you could shrink that from a space as big as your living room to a space as big as a Rubik's Cube? Well, man. Like, it's just a brilliant idea.
It would help me with my shirt closet because I actually 2 weeks ago I broke the damn rack off because I hung too many shirts on there. So that's a fight I'm gonna have to fight with the rental office at a later date. But but the thing is like outside of establishing this firm family dynamic, what also really fucking starts to hit for me is then once the kids get shrunk, this thing turns into a full-on fight for survival.
Yeah, it's an adventure movie.
Not only is it an adventure, it's like Clash of the Titans, bro. This backyard is something like no other.
See, we were talking earlier, and what I was thinking of, it reminded me of those old Jules Verne adaptation films like Journey to the Center of the Earth or even, I forgot, there's a bunch of these kind of old school movies where they would used to superimpose like an iguana as for a dinosaur and have people fighting and chucking spears at them with these old matte film techniques where they're kind of using blue screen and cutouts to make the Clash of the Titans, things like that. But this is going on in their backyard because now they're the size of, they're about 1.5 inches. Yeah, and so everything, all of a sudden, a blade of grass looks like a building. It looks like a tower,
skyscraper.
Yes. So they're in this environment and no longer having the advantage of being human sized. They're down where things are running around in that yard that are
they're the
bigger
bugs.
than them. It's crazy.
And they're riding bees. They're riding ants. Yeah. They're fighting fucking scorpions, bro. Yeah. Scorpions in the backyard. I would not want to be in that backyard.
Yeah. I think that's where it gets cool, man. That's where that adventure element goes on. And at the same time, the parents have a few moments where they're trying to figure out where my kids at. Yes. They're not even thinking that because it's crazy. First of all, it's something wild and it's something that maybe only one of the families is prepared to even consider. And it just happens to be, he finds a baseball bat and gets the idea like, oh, something's been,
but it takes him a while.
Tampered with in my yard. And it was just, because a freak chance that he found that bat.
He's swinging the bat around at the bee that the kid is riding on. And then he's like, wait a minute.
Yeah, man.
My son don't play baseball. Yeah. And then he notices that the baseball was hit into the attic.
I think that's one of the things that works though is the parents. They are so funny and it still has a family film vibe. And I think that carries
through and through.
Yeah.
Through and through. Because see, that's the thing. Like when I watched this as a child, then of course I was more intrigued and interested into what the children were going through in the adventure of in the backyard. And at my age now, but even, I'm a parent now, you know what I'm saying? So I can still find interest in what the kids are going through, but I'm more intrigued by the parents. And I know that feeling like, yo, where are my kids? Like, and that sense of worry and that like, oh my gosh, I mean, dude, okay. For the Szalinskis, it wasn't hitting them as heavy because they didn't have nothing going on. But the Thompsons, dude, he makes it plain and clear in 4 hours from when they woke up, we're going on a fishing trip. So they had somewhere to be. So you're not going to just sneak off, run off, go to the mall, go to the arcade and some shit when he's busy packing the camper and y'all going on a fishing trip in a short amount of time. So that sense of worry and, back in the 80s, man, kids was getting snatched, dog. I mean, it's still something that happens now, but people was getting snatched up. I mean, they gave the wholesome neighborhood element, but anything's possible.
Yeah, so that's cool too because like it brings me around to the cast that are playing these parents and stuff, and the characters, and I think it works, man. Rick Moranis is like an every guy, but he's also an every guy who's also an extreme nerd and dweeb. You get the idea that he doesn't really have a lot of friends. It's just really him and his family. He mostly tinkers and halfway takes care of his kids whenever he gets a chance. So the wife is holding it down.
Yes.
And but then I love the other family too. Because they're crazy. It's great because like I said, he's extreme. What we would consider the nuclear family, but on the extreme end. But he still has some problems. What's the last? Is it the Szalinskis?
The Szalinskis. That's Rick Moranis.
Okay,
and like you said, yeah, he's led by Rick Moranis. I mean, this film, he was the headliner. And he plays that. He plays such a likable character. In all of his films, his roles are very similar. I mean, dude. He's almost hitting on the same notes in this film as he's hitting in Little Giants. You know what I'm saying? But it works. It works for him as that dorky dad. But Matt Fuhrer, they're the Thompsons. Matt Fuhrer is who played Big Russ. Fuhrer. I love him. Dude, he plays Big Russ Thompson, and he kills it because he
steals every scene he's in, dude.
Every scene, yes, because he is the. He's the simpleton father that just like leads with his heart, but tries to in every way connect with his kids. He's swinging but missing.
He's traditional family values. The interesting thing though, he has connected with the younger son though. Yes. The younger son is all him.
Oh yes, all day long.
And both the good and the bad ways, it's all him.
Yes, all day. Another thing that that I thought was just really cool is Matt Fuhrer also played Max Headroom.
Yeah, I just found that out when I was looking up.
Max Headroom.
Because I was watching the movie, I'm like, man, he looks so familiar.
Yes.
Because this is only the second time I've seen this movie. Like I said, I saw it in the sixth grade camp, and then I saw it again when we rewatched it for the show. Okay. So I'm looking at him like, what have I seen him in it? And I did watch a bit of Max Headroom, even though I don't remember none of it. It was just a thing that was on at the time. I couldn't tell you nothing. It was just cool.
No, I can't. I
don't even know what the plot was.
I don't remember much. I just know that it was a digitized newscaster, and
it was fake digital.
But it was invented for the '80s. And then I remember Eminem used a snippet of Max Headroom when he did the Rap God video. But still, Max Headroom is a well-known 80s cult classic character, and Fuhrer played him, so that's awesome.
And the kids are kind of running the range of, we get all the archetypes from the kids, like the like you said, we got the Russell. He's a bit like
little Russell.
Like you feel like he would be better off in the Szalinski family, but then you got the other
Then you got Ron Thompson.
Yeah.
And dude,
Ron was all in.
He was played by Jared Rushton. And, and it's funny because he was the kid that I related to the most as a child. But I loved his attitude, his banter. Like, he always had some kind of comment to make. He led with his chest.
He's kind of a dick.
He was. But he was his father's child.
Yeah, you can tell. That's what I'm saying. He's definitely his father's child. He's loving being a Thompson.
Absolutely. and that's the thing too, is where like I said, where with Rick Moranis being the lead, the kids really did the heavy lifting in this film, you know what I'm saying? Because most of them weren't really known. I mean, minus Jared Rushton, who a year before co-starred with Tom Hanks in Big, and then the only other film he was in.
Most of this budget went to the effects, so they didn't really have a lot to do. They didn't have a lot with the cast. They could spread around with the cast, man.
And something trippy about the kids too is in the early version of this script, there was actually supposed to be 5 kids, and they said that one of them was going to die during the sprinkler scene.
What?
But then they scrapped that because yet again, that was a great idea. You know what I'm saying? Because you can't do that.
Like
you can't. That doesn't make that turns this into a drama.
But at the same time, if I'm making a film that I want to do well at the box office, I'm not killing the kid.
Dude, you kill the kids. That means it's no longer Disney. It's Miramax.
That changed the ending, so everybody else gets back to normal size. And what's it?
Exactly. If it's the neighbor's kids, then you got a lawsuit. You know what I'm saying?
Y'all want to see a little dead body?
If it's their kid that mom's divorcing Rick, I mean, it's terrible. There's no way to put a happy ending on that.
Y'all want to see a little dead body?
And speaking of, I mean, we already dealt with enough death. I mean, shit, the scorpion killed Auntie, and that still hurts my feelings. You know what I'm saying? Fuck that scorpion dog. He killed Auntie, man. You know?
It's working, man. For a family film, it's got all the really good ingredients for a good family film. And it's kind of messed up, though, in a way that we kind of don't see these kind of films being really created anymore, where there's fun for the entire family. Maybe they're appealing to the kids mostly, and if you're a parent that takes your kid, you might get some entertainment. But where this thing is presented as an idea where everyone is going to get some, you know.
Yes.
And we don't see them built that way and pushed out theatrically. Now we've got all these streaming platforms, so you may see something like this go straight to Netflix, or Disney's putting out things that are, you know, meant specifically for Disney Plus platform, but
yes,
to get a wide theatrical release. But it is a gamble, man. I mean, 15 million doesn't sound like a lot now, but at that time, that's kind of a big gamble for a film, yo.
That's big cheese. But you know what? Like you said, the budget, the thing, most of it went to the set designs. Okay, and to your point, this film could never be recreated because we live in an oversaturated CG heavy world.
I kind of think that we kind of can, because the techniques that are used in this film are techniques that we still see today. You've got the big set designs, but then you've also got a lot of green screen going on. Like when they're running around, but there's in the house CGs with the floor. I mean, that's the thing though, because people think computer generated just means the computer rendered it, but those scenes are put together with computer effects, where you got, like, when you see them running around in the like when they first get shrunk, then in the broom, and you know, like that was like some Raiders of the Lost Ark. That's green screen. They're running in one screen. They take that image out and place it on top of them, and that's what. But see, here's
the thing though. What CGI doesn't have to do, where this did, dude, it took 9 months to build this set design. You know what I'm saying? So look, so they said that they had to build 12 houses complete with front and backyards. They had to build a 10-foot tall oatmeal cookie made from polyurethane and real cream. They had a 40-foot, they had to make 40 feet tall blades of grass made from foam urethane, a giant mechanical ant that took 12 puppeteers to operate. They had to use 16,000 gallons of milk-like substance.
Here's my thing. Let's speak on that. That is really impressive. That's one of my favorite things about this film, is the way it's put together. But then when you look at something like Ant-Man, which is kind of bit a lot of stuff that they stole, you know, to make that film, came from Honey, I Shrunk the Kids, and you're seeing how they're able to use these tools to make it a much easier process and get much smoother.
This episode is brought to you by Classics Cinematics Merchandise. Now, y'all know just as well as I do how much an unwanted phone call can mess up your day. But with this Classics Cinematics cell phone case, I might not be able to stop those douchebags from calling, but damn if I don't look cool when I talk to them. Don't be afraid to be cool. Get yours today by clicking the link below.
Yeah, and better results, because I love my ant, but then there's those wide shots where he's stop motion, and it's just like but the close-ups are dope because you got a real live puppet animatronic where he's moving.
I'm a sucker for the practical effects. I mean, like I said, with the Cheerios scene, I mean, dude, 16,000 gallons of milk-like substance, and then they had to use tractor tire inner tubes to create the Cheerios. I mean, so these actors and actresses were engulfed in this world, which makes it feel a little more realistic, you know, and that's why it translates on screen that way, you know what I'm saying? But I mean, you know, it does, you know, I'm not bashing, you know, modern day technology or anything like that. I mean, I feel like, you know, we live in a world where, you know, inventiveness and creativity is, you know, should be at the forefront. And if there's an easier way to do things, by all means do it. But this is the kind of stuff, like films like this, just, I mean, dude, it took 6 months to film this, 9 months to create this set. I mean, this is like a year and a half worth of work, and you know, it translates on screen, and that's why I pulled the numbers that it did. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? And another thing that I do like is I like the score. It was done by a few different people, but you know, with them using the score that they did, it helped.
They actually jacked Gooni's tone in one moment in this film. I remember that. I was like, listening, I'm like, yo, that's like, you know, there was a moment of revelation. I think maybe when they first are looking up at the grass after they cut through the thing. I'm like, yo, that's like riff on the Goonies
but
theme.
with them doing that, it helps this film maintain its childlike innocence, and it kind of like gives us that like, you know, Pee Wee Herman's Big Adventure effect. You know what I'm saying? Where even rest in peace, Paul Rubin as well. But you know, regardless of how serious the situation is, we're never losing sight of the fact that this is still, you know, a family fun film. That as dangerous as these situations are going to get, it's not going to be that bad. You know what I mean? Like, and as a viewer for this style of film where there's pretty much death around every corner, you know that there's not going to be a single moment where you have to cover your kids. I was like, oh shit, yeah, the scorpion's actually going to fucking, he's not going to just kill the ant, he's going to kill the kid.
It's almost like an amusement park ride. It's trying to scare you, but you know you're not going to die. But that kind of, sometimes things go wild in the amusement park world though. You see some of these ride accidents.
And it's funny,
but we know nothing's really going to happen.
And it's funny that you reference amusement parks, because I do remember, I think Disney World had like a Honey, I Shrunk the Kids like themed area in their you know
park.
What
it is? Sometimes they'll do those things. I remember back then these were popular where it's like you sit in the thing and the chair shifts and moves and you're flying through,
like the Back to the Future thing at Universal,
or maybe they were simulating the B ride through this big world. And, I think it was probably something like that. And speaking on that B ride, that was that was a brilliant sequence, man. I really love that because we're speaking to the effects and I think the details of this help elevate it. Because you know you're small, these characters all of a sudden, you know, my man falls into the flower and you can see the pollen. And the sister's like, well, he's like, oh, you're allergic to pollen. He's like, but I'm too small. It's too big. But
he's like shoving a big fucking Twinkie-sized thing of pollen in his nose. Like, yeah, I'm not allergic.
Yeah, nah, but he sneezed. But then that flight, and I love the fact that the bee drops on the flower. It's like real life science that they're adding to this that enhances it. And then like when he's hanging on, you see the pollen all over the bee's legs, all over him, and they're flying through the yard. I thought that was still handled pretty well, even though it's kind of oldest techniques, you know, with the mat, you know, like I said, they filmed them on top of this giant bee on a blue screen, and then they take those images and superimpose it over motion footage. So these are the techniques, and it still looks good, even though
it does.
We've seen better stuff lately, but it still holds up. And the thrill at that time, this stuff is phenomenal. Like we're seeing. It's not like these things were newly being done, but being done at this high level was really impressive. Because like I said, man, that was one of my things as a kid. I remember Saturday morning, Sunday afternoons, and movies were coming on, and I would watch things like the Jason and the Argonauts, you know, those Ray Harryhausen movies they would be on, and I'm watching and just looking at how the effects are done, and to see them kind of revisit that in 2000 or 1989, revisit that and add more oomph to it and elevate it to a level that those guys couldn't do back in the 70s, 60s, and 70s, you know.
Well, and like you said, I mean, this film is just a testament of the progression in filmmaking and all of the enhancements. I mean, and we see that now in today's films. But I mean, when this one came out, like you said, to be able to watch this morning and still be impressed by what they did over 30 years ago with these effects and with these set designs, I mean, that speaks for itself. I mean, the money was so well spent that, you know, I mean, honestly, I think if a film like this were to come out now, it would do quadruple the numbers.
The thing is, they were talking about doing another, because they had a couple sequels. I think there was Honey, I Blew Up the Kid,
then Honey, We Shrunk Ourselves.
Yeah,
and they also had a TV show.
So there was another one.
I think it was called Shrunk. That's the one they're working on now.
But I think that one got officially like, we're not going to do it. They were talking about bringing back Rick Moranis,
and then Josh Gad was supposed to be in one of them. Like, he kept coming up on the casting bill. I was like, yo, who the hell did Josh Gad play? And I went down this whole rabbit hole, and then I found out that he was just supposed to be one of the cast members in the newer installments.
Yeah. So apparently they were going to do a reboot. Let me see.
And it kind of sucks too, because
there's a lot of schedule conflicts in a sense. So I think officially, it was set to be directed by the original director Joe Johnston, but apparently it just didn't work out, man.
Well, and the thing is, speaking of not working out, Honey, I Blew Up the Kids was a flop too. I mean, that was just pretty much a recreation of the 50-Foot Woman. Just off this platform, trying to ride off the success.
That was definitely a money grab, bro. Like,
it was.
Sometimes you just gotta like let it go.
And the crazy thing is they spent
and just be good with what you made off of the first one.
Yes, they spent twice as much on the budget. The Honey, I Blew Up the Kid had like a $48 million budget, and it didn't even pull back what it spent. Because, I mean, that's the thing. Like you said, when you start trying to dig in the same well, searching for the same pieces of gold, you're going to fail. Yeah. It's just it. And like I said, we already saw the Szalinskis and what they could bring to the table. Like, how do you do the same accident twice but in reverse? Like, it's just like, for me, that's just like Home Alone 2. Okay, like I get it. Home Alone 1, love that movie.
You ain't leaving
How do you
kid
lose your kid twice?
Yeah, man.
You know what? Know, by this point, man, if I lose my kid the first time, I'm getting one of those weirdo parent dog.
I feel like a lot of times some of these successes had so little invested in it when they hit, like a Honey, or Home Alone.
Yes.
And it blew up so big, it was like, well, even if we, you know what I'm saying? It's not going to be too big of a risk because of what we made overall from this first film. But then you just harm your potential franchise, man. Like some things are just good one shots, man.
Oh,
because I think that's one of the interesting things that comes into discussion lately. Because Barbie's about to be $1 billion movie, and they're talking about, maybe they get a sequel, or maybe we'll take all these other toys and things and make franchises. And I'm like, man, sometimes you gotta just take that lightning hit and roll with it and think of something new, man. Go off to something else, or you're just gonna end up just cheapening the legacy of what you created and had a success with.
And you know what? I'm gonna just take this opportunity to catch that alley-oop. Speaking of harming a franchise, this film also presented us with the rise and fall of Roger Rabbit. Okay, this was the first film that had the first installment of the 8-minute Roger Rabbit shorts before the film, and they did this.
What was the short?
It was called Tummy Trouble.
So that was the very
first one.
Yeah, and you know what it was? Because our Honey, I Shrunk the Kids camp presentation was VHS, and that was included with those VHS copies. That Tummy Trouble.
And the thing is, like I said, it was a great marketing and advertising ploy on their end, because Who Framed Roger Rabbit came out in '88. It was a box office smash, right? This drops in '89. People are chomping at the bit for more Roger Rabbit, okay? So what they did when they first started doing the trailer releases, they were just, showing trailers of this film. And then as it got closer to the release date, they started throwing in these Roger Rabbit little Easter eggs and stuff. And the world's like, oh, we get more Roger. This is what we wanted. So, they give us Tummy Trouble, which was a cool cartoon. You get Roger and Baby Herman, and pretty much for all intents and purposes, they're Itchy and Scratchy, they're Tom and Jerry, they're Sylvester and Tweety. The woman that you can't see from the knee up is her baby, and she keeps making Uncle Roger watch her baby, and the baby puts him through hell and back. And thank God he's attuned, because everything under the sun happens to him 45 different ways. Okay, but the thing of it is that after the success of this film, because that short is actually highly credited to why audiences were chomping at the bit to see this film. Okay, but after the success of that's where the problems started, because then the ownership of the characters between Disney and Amblin caused some tension. Amblin Entertainment.
Yeah.
Okay, caused tension between Steven Spielberg and Michael Eisner. Whereas the second installment, which was supposed to be called Roller Coaster Rabbit, coincidentally enough, was supposed to drop before the Amblin-produced film Arachnophobia. But it didn't. It dropped before the Disney-produced Dick Tracy. That completely.
Is that on Disney Plus? I might have to rewatch that. Roller Coaster was trash, I think, at the time.
I don't know. Yeah, Dick Tracy, I don't know if that's on Disney Plus. I know the movie didn't do well. It didn't.
Nah, that's a flop, though.
It flopped.
It was one of the ones where they had a lot of money involved in the production of it as well as the promotion of it because the marketing was everywhere. I think they had a Monopoly or Disney or
McDonald's,
something.
All kinds of McDonald's.
Tracy
Warren Beatty's directorial debut. Ying, ying, ying. He's acting in it. Oh, Madonna's in it. Oh, Al Pacino's in it, and all these other people are in it. And you got all these goons for days. And I mean, they might even have dropped toys. Who knows? But the thing of it is that once they did that, then that created a major rift between Spielberg and Eisner. And because of that, they were unwilling to work with each other at this point. So this then, pretty much caused them to then cancel any future shorts being made. And the third installment, which was called Trail Mix-Up, ended up dropping 3 years later once the buzz has all the way died before, guess what movie?
What movie?
A Far Off Place.
What is that?
Exactly.
Far Off Place.
Exactly. Like, I've never even seen that. I think I ended up having to pull the damn Google sheet on it. It says it had Reese Witherspoon, Ethan Embry, and it's pretty much South Africa survives an evil ivory poacher's attempt to kill her and a bunch of elephants or some shit. So, I mean, the movie, dude, it box office 12.9 million.
Who's in this shit?
Reese Witherspoon and Ethan Embry. Those are the only two people that stood out to me. Yeah. So 12.9 million. It probably cost 12.9 million to make the damn Roger Rabbit cartoon before the film. And I was like, how does that even add up? Why do you put Roger Rabbit before this film? So
subsequently, that would lead to Spielberg jumping ship
and going to Warner Brothers Animation Studios, which was killing it in the 90s, giving us stuff like Batman's animated series.
He was a producer on Animaniacs
Tiny Toons.
and Tiny Toons.
Yes.
Yes.
Dude. So, and by 93, when this dropped, he didn't give two squirts about Roger Rabbit or the success of it or that franchise. It was a lost art.
And that's squandered because I think if you, even just for the sake of spinoff, you probably could have made a compelling Roger Rabbit afternoon cartoon for kids, like easily.
I mean, dude,
even sequels, because I mean, even at the time
there was supposed to be a sequel
with my man. I forgot his name. The detective
Bob Hoskins.
Bob Hoskins. He could easily kill. If they made another compelling mystery movie,
you find a way to bring back Christopher Lloyd. I mean. Dude, and the thing that worked,
make a new villain.
The thing that worked for Roger Rabbit is because it had Disney's backing. It had the ability to bring in all of the Disney characters: Mickey Mouse, Minnie, Donald, all these characters. I mean, and you could have installed them in every single episode in various ways. It would have worked and worked and worked and worked. Made toys, all kinds of stuff, but because beef. Biggie said it best. What's beef?
Beef is when you need a cartoon to start your movie off, and they put it in front of the wrong movie that you agreed upon.
Yes, and they overcook that beef. Who the hell wants a dry hamburger? Not me. So yes, rest in peace, Roger Rabbit. Love Who Framed Roger Rabbit. Loved the first two shorts. Like I said, the Tummy Trouble and Trail Mix-Up is on Disney Plus. Roller Coaster Rabbit is free streaming on YouTube. I watched all of them multiple times this week. They're all good. The third one, you could tell that there was problems. The creative differences were on the forefront in that one. I did not really like that one, but the first two were just it was great, fun time watching Roger Rabbit in his natural element as a cartoon.
Speaking of that, man, what I do appreciate with that, I love how lately, just in the tradition of this, Pixar now, sometimes when you go to see some of their movies, they put these animated shorts in front of, their films. And I think that's cool to just preserve that tradition. And honestly,
it works.
These shorts should probably be more widespread than just Pixar or animated features, throw these in front of other things, man. Like, take 5 minutes, because nowadays you get 20 minutes of trailers, which is cool, but like a lot of this stuff is like,
give us a short, give us a cartoon.
Yeah, I'd rather you give me 5 minutes, cut out 2 of these trailers, and give me 5 minutes of a short. That's cool too, man. Exactly. And plus, you're giving other people other creatives a chance to shine and put their ideas in front of the film.
And
man,
some of them are memorable, dog.
Yeah.
I want to say it was before Nemo, but man, there was this one with this like lonely like mountain in the middle of the ocean. He was just singing. He was all alone, and then he found like a female mountain in the distance, and somehow they found a way to get together. Man, it was a tearjerker, dog. I was like, oh man, it's crazy. I still remember that shit.
Yeah, mountain style.
Yes.
Oh my God!
Can't make this shit up, man. I'm not that creative.
Yeah. I think we can wrap this thing up, man, and just point out that Honey, I Shrunk the Kids is a good time.
It is,
and it's one of those, like I said, man. Your family film night, I think is fun, and I think family film nights are still fun and important in filmmaking, and it's kind of rare now. Like with the stakes have gotten so high now that you know we've had some great things come over the years. I love Encanto, things like Coco. And a lot of, you know, what the Pixar's brought to the table, but these kind of films, these live action family films, they're kind of few and far between, man. You know, so I think it's important to keep this tradition going, man.
Absolutely.
And, you know,
I mean, especially at a time now where, you know, a lot of the kids, you know, can't function without their cell phone or a digital device. They spend more time locked on the screen. You know, take films like this to take that opportunity to do some family bonding, sit, laugh together, love each other, tell jokes, vibe, remind each other that we're people first, we're not robots. You know what I mean? Films like this make it all worthwhile. You know what I'm saying? Because these are the things that create memories that, you know, once that time passes, everybody's kids grow up and they will at some point become too cool to want to hang out with you.
Some of y'all kids grow up. Personally,
some of them be hooked to your head.
Personally, for the rest of your life. I don't know if I'm fully grown yet. You know, I got a lot of kid tendencies.
I hear you, bro.
Yeah, but yeah, man, this is definitely a fun time, man. And I had a good time rewatching this.
Guaranteed must watch. The rewatchability is high. Still holds up today. A lot of laughable moments. It's just fun. It was. I had so much fun watching this week. I'm glad we chose to review it. You know, because I wouldn't even have had any other reason to pull this one out, you know, or even thought about it. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, I'm glad we did this. It was a good time.
Yeah, folks. So I think that's it, man. We're gonna catch y'all next time. Make sure you hit the link below, man. Get you some merch, man. Help us support this. Tell your friends about us. Like, subscribe, man. Share, retweet, regram, whatever y'all need to do to get the word out on us, man.
Do it. Do it twice. Do it 3 times.
Yeah, we'll be back next time, man. I don't know what the movie's going to be. We still deciding that. But, yeah, we out of here. Catch us at Class of Cinematics on Instagram. Catch me at Monkey Blood on Twitter, Instagram.
It's Bobby Blockbuster. You can catch me somewhere out in the real world or on the next show.
All right, folks. We out of here. Peace.